A man was robbing a house in the middle of the night. All of a sudden, he heard a parrot cry out,
"Brock, Jesus is gonna get you!"
The robber ignored it and takes the TV. Again, the parrot cries out,
"Brock, Jesus is gonna get you!"
The robber started to get a little worried. "What's your name, little birdie?"
"Brock, Moses."
"What dumbass named you Moses?"
"Brock, the same dumbass who called his Rottweiler Jesus."
Dracula wanted to know which of his bats was best, so he organized a little competition. The bat which would drink more blood in less time than others would be the winner. The first bat went and came back after 10 minutes. Its mouth was full of blood. Dracula was impressed. He asked, "Nice, how did you do it?" The bat said, "Do you see that tower? Behind it there is a house. I went inside and drank the blood of all the family." "Very good." The second bat went and came back after 5 minutes. He too had blood all on his face. Dracula was shocked. "How did you do that?" The bat said, "Do you see that tower? Behind it there is a hotel. I went inside and drank the blood of all the guests." "Fantastic." Now the third bat went and came back just after 1 minute. There was blood all over his body. Dracula couldn't believe his eyes. "How did you do that?" The bat said, "Do you see that tower?" Dracula said, "Yes." And the bat said, "I didn't see it." A police officer sees a man driving around with a pickup truck full of penguins. He pulls the guy over and says,
"You can't drive around with penguins in this town. Take them to the zoo immediately."
The guy says okay and drives away. The next day, the officer sees the guy still driving around with a truck full of penguins, and they're all wearing sunglasses. He pulls the guy over and demands,
"I thought I told you to take these penguins to the zoo yesterday."
"I did. Today I'm taking them to the beach." A lady goes to her parish priest one day and tells him, "Father, I have a problem. I have 2 female parrots, but they only know how to say one thing." "What do they say?" the priest inquired.
"They say, 'Hi, we're prostitutes. Do you want to have some fun?'"
the woman said embarrassingly. "That's obscene," the priest exclaimed. "I can see why you're embarrassed." He thought a minute and then said, "You know, I may have a solution to this problem. I have 2 male parrots whom I have taught to pray and read the Bible. Bring your 2 parrots over to my house, and we will put them in a cage with Francis and Job. My parrots could teach your parrots to praise and worship. I'm sure your parrots will stop saying that phrase in no time." "Thank you," the lady responded. "This may very well be the solution." The next day, she brought her female parrots to the priest's house. As he ushered her in, he saw his 2 male parrots were inside their cage, holding their rosary beads and praying. Impressed, she walked over and placed her parrots in with them. After just a couple of seconds, the female parrots exclaimed out in unison,
"Hi, we're prostitutes. Do you want to have some fun?"
There was a stunned silence. Finally, one male parrot looked over at the other male parrot and said,
"Brock, put the beads away, Francis. Our prayers have been answered."
A family is driving their car on a holiday. A frog crosses the road, and the husband, who is driving, is able to stop the car. He gets out and takes the frog and carries him to the side of the road. The frog is grateful, thanks the man, and tells him he will grant him a wish. The man says, "Please make my dog win the next dog race." Frog asks to look at the dog, which jumps out of the car. The frog notices that the dog only has 3 legs and tells the man that he thinks it is almost impossible to fulfill his wish and asks that the man will tell him another wish. The man says, "Well then, please help that my wife will win the next beauty contest in the area." The frog asked him to tell his wife to get out of the car. The wife comes out of the car and approaches the frog. The frog turns to the man and says,
Could I please have another look at the dog?
In the middle of a forest, there was a hunter who was suddenly confronted by a huge, mean bear. In his fear, all attempts to shoot the bear were unsuccessful. Finally, he turned and ran as fast as he could. The hunter ran and ran and ran until he ended up at the edge of a very steep cliff. His hopes were dim. Seeing no way out of this predicament, and with the bear closing in rather quickly, the hunter got down on his knees, opened his arms, and exclaimed, "Dear God, please give this bear some religion." The skies darkened, and there was lightning in the air. Just a few feet short of the hunter, the bear came up to an abrupt stop and glanced around, somewhat confused. Suddenly, the bear looked up in the sky and said,
Thank you, God, for the food I'm about to receive.
A guy spots a sign outside a house that reads, "Talking dog for sale." He rings the bell and the owner appears and tells him the dog is in the backyard. The guy goes into the backyard and sees a nice-looking Burmese mountain dog sitting there. "You talk?" he asks. "Yup," the Burmese replies. After the guy recovers from the shock of hearing a dog talk, he says, "So, what's your story?" "I've led a very full life," says the dog. "I lived in the Alps rescuing avalanche victims. Then I served my country in Iraq. And now I spend my days reading to the residents of a retirement home." This guy is amazed. He goes back in and asks the owner what he wants for the dog. $10, the guy says. $10? This dog is amazing. And honestly, why on earth would you want to get rid of an incredible dog like that? The owner says, "Because he's a liar. He's never been out of the yard." 3 household pets, a golden retriever, a parakeet, and a cat, all die and go to heaven. As with all the good animals, God decides to have a personal discussion with each one to see where they will stay in heaven. God turns to the dog and says, "The book of life indicates that you have been a very good boy. But tell me, in your own words, what are your ultimate principles? What do you believe in?" The dog says, "I believe in loyalty, companionship, and love. I have been a cherished part of my owner's family for many years." God smiles. "Truly, you have a pure and loving heart. You shall sit at my right hand." Then he turns to the parakeet. "What do you believe in?"
I believe in color, flamboyance, and music.
The parakeet says,
For many years I have displayed beautiful feathers and filled my owner's house with song.
"Your beauty is truly magnificent," God says, "and your song shall echo through the universe. You shall sit at my left." God finally turns to the house cat.
And you, majestic little predator, what do you believe in?
The cat lazily surveys God's throne and says, I believe you are in my seat. When you want to hear more of the best jokes ever, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you know when the next video is coming. And if this video brightened up your day and made you laugh, go ahead and give it a like.